sometimes videos are hard to make when there's activity going on outside. You're trying to stay focused in the moment and everything's going crazy outside. Competition teams, let's talk about it. I want to discuss, I haven't seen a video on a competition team, if it's a good idea, if it's a bad idea, how you should go about it if you don't have a competition team. But long video short, yes, I think you should have a competition team. I don't think you should have tryouts. I think if any kid comes through the door and wants to compete, he's on the team or she's on the team. They're on the team, whether they're good or not good. Now, you could probably say, okay, well, I don't want to have you start competing until this belt level. You're on the team, but let's wait until you get to this belt level for you to start competing, so at least we can get some kind of skill, a form, a poomsae, weapons, whatever, sparring, competition stick sparring, something like that. That would be okay. But have them still be on the team, but training so they know how competitions work and what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, how everything's set up. And I would have a separate competition class in your studio. Now, why do I say this? Now, my first studio that I had a few years ago, I ran that for 6-8 years, somewhere around in there. I had a huge competition team. Over half of my students competed, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I used to compete when I was going up through the color belts, and I stopped competing when I was I think a 3rd degree black belt, or maybe a 4th. I think I competed a little bit in 4th degree, but nothing too serious. It was just kind of, I went and competed because I was part of the team, made sure the kids kind of had a chaperone, and kind of just like any kind of school sport you'd want. But this is kind of a outside independence sport, and I do recommend this quite a bit. So I started competing a little bit, but nothing too crazy. I am thinking about it now because I've only been open not even a year, and I've been getting a lot of my students ask, are there tournaments? Are there martial arts tournaments? Yeah, we have some pretty good tournaments, pretty big tournaments, and it kind of gives me chills because I was waiting for this. I wasn't promoting any kind of tournaments within my school yet. I had students come up to me and say, hey, do you do any tournaments here? And then I was like, yeah, we do. So what I was doing is I was just not gonna promote any tournaments that we had. I was just wanting to build my students first and kind of see where it went, and then kind of add in like, okay, we have a tournament this week, this month, whatever it is. Put posters up, things like that. Like I did before, I just wanted to build up to that, but the kids want it pretty soon, so I'm going to start this right now. In this next year, we should have a competition team. Now, I don't think we should do any kind of like tryouts. Like I was saying before, I think we should have a certain time of belt rank that is good, but having tryouts of like, okay, you're good, you're not good, you're gonna lose those students. Don't do tryouts. I'll go into my stories now. Now, my first competition team, it was with my first instructor, my first true instructor that I had. He invited me to a tournament. At this time, I didn't want anything to do with tournaments. I just wanted to learn the martial arts, the hand motions, the stances, the fluidity, if that's even a word, the flow, the strength, the being light on my feet. I I just wanted to be a martial artist. I didn't want to compete. I was still rodeoing and riding bulls at the time, so my focus was I just want to compete. I just want to ride bulls and not compete in tournaments. But my instructor, he had his local tournament. And he's like, hey, Mr. McKee, you don't have to compete, but I want you to just come down and just check it out. Just hang out, if I need some help, help me out, things like that. And he was very personable. So of course, with those kind of people, you always want to just, be around them. They have this aura about them. And, he walks in the room, like, it's like, oh, Mr. Gilbert's here. Yeah, awesome. He was always just one of those type of guys that really brought people together. And, I wanted to be around him. He was cool. Good martial artist, excellent martial artist. And he was the type of guy that was friends with everybody. And so he invited me, and I was still, probably an orange belt, yellow belt at this time. I was like, oh, well, okay. It was just right down the road in California. I was like, okay, cool. So I went, blew my mind. I was hooked from about the first hour of seeing everybody, feeling the energy of the competition, of the rings, the full contact sparring, the poomsays, the forms, the weapons forms. Just everything was just like, I was hooked. And I asked him, like, hey, how do we do this? Like, how do we get into this deal? And he's like, well, I have a competition team, and now you're a part of it. So he invited me onto the competition team, and we got a warm-up, full warm-up suit, pants, matching jacket, with the school logo and our name on them. And when we went to tournaments, this is what we wore. And a lot of the schools had competition teams. So when they walked in, they knew, oh, this school's here. Okay, we have our work cut out for us. And so he invited me, and I could tell you at that time in my life was the best time that I ever had in my life up to that point. It was amazing. Even it was even better than my rodeo career that I had. I loved just the atmosphere and the energy that being a martial artist, not a very good one at the time, but being a martial artist, walking into that tournament, feeling the energy and seeing like people warm their forms up, and sparring drills, things like that, and just the atmosphere really hooked me, and I'm still hooked on that. I still love tournaments. So he invited me on the team. I competed, and he was saying he wanted me to be in the regular ring. He didn't want me to go into the disability ring, but a lot of people were like, why don't you go in the disability ring? And I asked my instructor, I was like, yeah, why don't you want, like, should I be in the disability ring? And he's like, absolutely not. You'd slaughter him. You'd destroy him. And he knew I like a challenge in my life. And being in the regular ring, and I just wanted to spar. I can kind of care less about the forms and weapons at that time. I just wanted that gold medal around my neck of a sparring title. My instructor had one, and I was like, I need one. I need one bad. I need that gold medal around my neck. And so I would compete with that. Well, years later, that school shut down, devastated me, because I thought I was going to be there forever, and life happens, blah, 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 whatever. And a new kid comes in a different style. We switched styles. It was Tung Sudo. I'm not going to name the organization of Tung Sudo, but this individual was very toxic and one of the bad apples of this organization. I don't like him. I still don't like him. I wouldn't ever recommend, if he has a school now, I wouldn't recommend kids go to that school at all. Because what I was doing is, I was like, okay, well, are we going to do a competition team? It's like, yes, we're going to have tryouts. I was like, oh, Lord. Okay. And so went into the competition team and I didn't get in. He's like, nope, you're not good enough for my team. Now, here's the problem with that. One, I was in that school for about 3 years to 4 years before that guy even got there. He came into our studio and then he started like, nope, you're this. I mean, he even took my rank away. He dropped me a rank when I switched over to his style. It's like, man, are you serious, dude? And this kid was young, he was cocky, he was just full of himself. He's one of the, oh, I'm gonna be a movie star type of mentalities, and I just had enough, and he lost me as a student. After that, I was gone. I was like, you don't treat people like this. I don't care if they have a disability or they're the best in the world. You don't treat people like this. This is rotten. This is absolutely rotten of you to do this. Because, let me explain something to you. Competition is competition, and anyone can compete. Anyone. Someone in a wheelchair can compete. Someone that only has, a day of classes can compete. White belts can compete. It doesn't matter the ability of the person. I think when people like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a tryout because I just want the best. Now it's the instructor saying, you're not good enough and I want only the best in my studio. That doesn't make sense to me. That's the wrong way to think about things, because us as instructors and school owners, we need to make sure that the students that come in through our doors are recognized as a human being, not a number, not like you suck, you need to get better. Now, of course, if they have bad attitudes and you just feel like this is just something that you can hold off until they straighten their attitude out, then use that as that carrot, as like, okay, I want you to be on this team, but you got to straighten your attitude out. I'm only recruiting the best students with the best attitudes, not the ability. It's the attitudes. Let them change their attitude of like, man, I want that, because it's easy to change your attitude. It's really easy. Now, your ability, that's where, it takes some time to become a really good sharp martial artist, but as we all know, martial arts is is interpreted in everyone. Everyone has their own style, their own ability, and you really can't say if they're a good martial artist or if they're a bad martial artist. It's just their own individual, this is my martial arts. And as instructors, we just need to encourage that and make sure that they have the right form, the right positioning, all that. But that comes with time and a lot of work and a lot of nurturing and building of leaders in life. But I would say the only reason that you would not bring someone on your team is an attitude adjustment. They can change their attitude if they really want something bad. They're like, okay, I know what my parents and my teachers and my instructor says. I really want to be on that competition team. I want to compete bad. Let me start changing my attitude. Attitudes are easier to change than physical ability. That takes a long time. But that would be the only thing that I would say, like, okay, I would hold this back until I see a difference in the attitude. And if you do, give them like, okay, it's good. Let's give it a month, and let's relook at this. and be on top of it, right? Don't just be like, okay, another month, and then you forget about it, and then they just kind of go off and be like, well, the instructor never did come back, and say if it was good or not. I'm out of here. We have a very important job to do within being a martial artist, and like it or not, people look up to us. In communities, they look up to us as martial arts. Now, I know a lot of martial artists have made a lot of other martial artists look bad, but as a whole, we need to have a good reputation of being a martial artist, being a school within a community, and we need to not be this crazy individual that it's all about them, it's all about the money, you're not good enough. We're supposed to be helping people and not destroying people's lives, right? So just keep that in mind. If you are that type of person, like this guy that I was training with, I mean, he was even younger than me by about like 15 years. I mean, he was a kid, and no, you're not good enough. Man, it still irks me. I mean, there's still something in there that really just wants me to just, knock the dude out because of that deal. And it destroyed me. And me being, the age I am now, I want to make sure that there's not more of that going on, that, people are like, yeah, screw that. That's, I'm not going to come back to that. It just made me feel like a complete idiot. And he just wasn't very good at his job, and he never should have had that position in the first place. But it is what it is. But that's kind of what I wanted to discuss in this video. Tell me what you think. And then I need a name. I need a name for my team, because I'm going to be creating a team. So comment down below and tell me if you have any good names for a team, and then I'll shout you out on my next video if I have a good team name for you. Okay? All right. So till next time, train hard, train smart, and I'll see you then.